I have been involved with youth. It started in 1993 with a program that we ran in a classroom with the help of the club. And later, I took it to the community. And so I was working with a group of kids at a church during the summer, and they wanted to keep going with the speaking and leadership that they were doing in the club. So we formed a Gavel Club, and it's been 15 years ago that we did that. And today the club is...
Welcome to D50 After Dark, where we have conversations with the leaders of District 50 Toastmasters. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking to the leaders in District 50 who support our programs for young people. It's going to be a really heartwarming conversation today, so stay tuned. Okay, welcome to D50 After Dark. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett, and today in studio, we have Jenny Hoch and Nikki Jones. And we're going to be talking about welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we're going to be talking about youth leadership programs and Gavel clubs in District 50. Now, the chair of the youth leadership programs in District 50 is Hitesh Balala. And Hitesh couldn't make it to the studio today. So I met up with him online for a conversation last week and asked him a few questions. So I'm gonna convey those responses to you here in the interview today. So Hitesh, before we get into the youth programs, could you first just tell us a little bit about yourself and your Toastmasters experience?
I joined Toastmasters in the year 2012, and over the last 13 years, I learned a lot through different Toastmasters clubs, taking on different leadership roles, and it has been an amazing journey. It has helped me on every step of my life. Toastmasters helped me become a better public speaker, become a better leader, not only at my workplace, but even in my businesses. Everything that I learned in Toastmasters was useful. And even to date, I'm able to take the advantage of all the lessons that I have learned and do much better in my businesses. Grateful for the journey that I have had with Toastmasters, and really recommend everyone who has not had a chance to become a part of Toastmasters, give it a chance, give it a genuine effort, and you will not regret it.
Great. Well, Hitesh, tell me, what does the Youth Leadership Chair do?
Primarily under youth leadership, we conduct youth leadership programs, and we have a team. We also organize Gavel clubs. So Gavel club is nothing but exactly similar to a Toastmasters club, but primarily focused on the youth, students of ages 10 and 18 years. Youth leadership team basically conducts youth leadership programs at various libraries or any place that is available where students are interested. A youth leadership team also organizes an annual conference in the form of a youth leadership summit, where different contests as well as learning sessions happens at the conference.
Very cool. I love these programs. Now, it takes a whole team to do anything, as we all know and learn in Toastmasters. Is there anyone else on your team that you want to acknowledge or call out?
Overall, right, over the last several years, within District 50, almost 800 to 1,000 young students have benefited from the Toastmasters program. There have been many volunteers who have participated in helping conduct youth leadership programs as well as organizing the Gavel clubs. So I would definitely like to mention the name of Kevin Green Sr., Distinguished Toastmaster, Rushab Maniar, Sri Lakshmi, Jen Hoch, as well as Nikki, and many other volunteers who dedicated a lot of time and energy in conducting these youth leadership programs and organizing Gavel clubs.
Very cool. Thank you, Hitesh. Now, Jen and Nikki, you, as Hitesh mentioned, each of you, when he mentioned people in his team, you are supporting these programs in Toastmasters, and we want to get to know each of you first. So, Nikki, tell us a little bit about yourself and your Toastmasters experience.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So I started with Toastmasters last year and was actually recruited by Hitesh to come on board and help with the youth leadership programs. And that was my first introduction to Toastmasters. And so he asked me to attend a regular Toastmasters meeting for adults. And so I was able to go and kind of experience what that was like, and the, impromptu speaking, which was, scary, which it shouldn't have been, because in my past career, I was in strategic sales. So this was something that shouldn't have been foreign to me, but it was, because it's been a little bit of time, but I enjoyed it. And so I was able to help plan the first youth leadership program at the Frisco Library. And so that's what I've been doing since.
Yeah, and so you are also involved in planning the leadership, what's it called, the summit?
Yes, the Youth Leadership Summit that's happening next month on April 26th. Yes.
Very cool. We're going to talk a lot about the summit as well, but first, Jen Hoch, tell us a little bit about yourself and your Toastmasters experience.
Thank you so much, Mickey. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I joined Toastmasters in 1991 and was a Toastmaster for about 5 years. Then we moved to Dallas, and I have a gap in Toastmaster experience and restarted in 2002. So I've been a Toastmaster for a few years. I have been involved with youth. It started in 1993 with a program that we ran in a classroom with the help of the club. And later, I took it to the community. And so I was working with a group of kids at a church during the summer, and they wanted to keep going with the speaking and leadership that they were doing in the club. So we formed a Gavel club, and it's been 15 years ago that we did that. And today the club is in Plano and thriving. We have about 17 members, and we meet twice a month. And it really is the best foundation for youth to learn how to deliver speeches, how to speak impromptu, and how to run a meeting, and also do feedback and evaluations. So that, I've been a Toastmaster, and I'm still very active in an adult club, but the kids are really what I enjoy doing.
Now, a Gavel Club. So is Gavel Club, as many of us know, to be a member of Toastmasters, you have to be 18 or older.
That's correct.
And so is Gavel Club just basically a Toastmasters club for people who are younger than 18?
It is actually a Toastmasters club or a Toastmaster affiliated club with people who cannot join a regular club. So that means they're under 18, or they might be in prison. So there's opportunities for people to do the Toastmasters program when they can't really join a Toastmasters club. So the Gavel Club is the format that Toastmasters International uses to bring the program to people who might not be able to get involved with it.
Sure. I had a friend in my club, Max Resquina, who was involved in bringing Gavel Clubs to prisoners, and he had some amazing stories about the difference that it made for those people. But today we're going to be talking about the programs as it applies to the young people. And so in addition to Gavel Club, which in many ways looks like a Toastmasters club, it's ongoing, it continues year after year.
Yes.
The members may come and go.
Yes, that's true.
We also have the Youth Leadership Program. Nikki, tell us about the Youth Leadership Program.
Sure. So the Youth Leadership Program is for kids ages 10 to 18. And it is a 4-week course where the kids come and they're mentored by experienced Toastmasters. And we teach them things like how to construct a speech, the conclusion, the body, and the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. We teach them about stage presence, how to use the entire stage, how to engage with the audience, voice modulation. We teach them about how to have like a hook in their speech. Mm-hmm. So all of those things we teach in an engaging session. So it's not just passive listening. They're up and active and doing things in this program. So, and at the end of the 4 weeks, they give their final speech. We invite the parents to come and see, and they can see their child deliver the speech and all the progress that they've made. And it is amazing to see the kids and the confidence they have by the end of the 4 weeks versus the first day when everybody's really shy and nobody wants to speak and they're using little voice versus that last week when they are projecting and they're using the stage and using gestures and have a very well constructed speech. So it is amazing the benefits that the kids are receiving from the program.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can only imagine. I wish I had something like Toastmasters when I was young. I was in drama or theater as they call it now, and that provided some similar benefits. But man, to have Toastmasters as a teenager would have been awesome.
It absolutely is. And the fact that there are adults that are professionals in their field that are volunteering their time to come and teach these kids, like they're really getting the benefit of years of experience.
Yeah. Now, the youth leadership program is 4 weeks. Are they meeting once a week? Are they meeting multiple times a week? How does that work?
It is once a week for 4 weeks. Initially, our first session was 8 weeks, and that was a big commitment for a lot of parents. So we have condensed it to 4 weeks where they just meet once a week for 2 hours and, really have a good time.
And if I was a parent with a kid in the target age range, like how would I find out about this? Is this something that is like an after school program, or is it maybe associated with churches, or how does one come across these youth leadership programs?
So I try to plan them out throughout the year, and then we'll post them on social media, share them with schools, share them with Girl Scout troops, Boy Scout troops. So it's really more word of mouth and social media that people can find this. But it's also, we try to post it on our D50 website when those leadership meetings our programs are taking place.
Yeah, and this is very similar to like a speech workshop, which is a similar project.
Absolutely. It is similar to that, just a little more engaging and a little more fun. We try to keep it fun for the kids.
Yeah.
Just tailor it to, their, not to say their level, because these kids are highly intelligent, but we want to make sure that when they're there, they're having a good time so they'll want to come back and they're receiving the information that we're teaching.
I imagine after doing these workshops, a lot of these kids are ready to keep going and are prime candidates to join a Gavel Club.
Absolutely. And that would be the next step for the kids that do the youth leadership program. It would be to go to a Gavel Club so that they can continue to practice those skills. It's just like anything else where practice makes perfect. So we encourage them at the end of the youth leadership program to join a Gavel Club, or, the kids that they meet in the sessions, like they become a little family and they get to know each other. It's like, well, why don't you all start a Gavel Club with you all? But that is the next step, and we highly encourage that.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of us Toastmasters are only tangentially aware of all these amazing activities that are going on. Are there a lot of Gavel Clubs in District 50?
Jen?
Hitesh has the best answer for that.
Yeah, that would be the best answer.
I know of probably 8 to 10 of them in the DFW area. The biggest challenge is trying to find a Gavel Club that's in the area where the student is or the parents are, so that it's easy for them to connect. The Gavel Club that I sponsor is in Plano at a rec center, and we meet twice a month on a Sunday. That doesn't always fit with everybody's schedule, but there are other Gavel Clubs. Some I know are actually at maximum capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to try to find what you can and keep working at it.
Okay.
And visiting a Gavel Club is the best way to start. I mean, I encourage that, people to come to several Gavel Club meetings before they make a decision to join or not.
And one more thing before we wrap up this conversation. You mentioned like what a big impact it makes on these kids, and in a future episode we're going to hear about some of the specific stories, but just give us kind of expand a little bit more, like what are the benefits for these kids who do the youth leadership program or the Gavel Club?
Well, I think one of the big benefits is it builds their confidence. So,
Yeah.
especially when they're in school and they have to give speeches or, debate, that they have this background. They know how to use the stage, they know how to construct their speech. So, it definitely gives them a better foundation. But I also, one thing that we talk about a lot too is about self talk and how you can psych yourself out before you even get up to make your speech.
Yeah.
And that, you have to work on that positive self talk and kind of drown out all those other things. And so I think that helps not just with their speech, but just in life, just learning how to, talk better to yourself.
That's so important.
That is important.
That's so important. And I feel like in our current society as it is, all these programs are in person, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And building these skills of communicating with people in person is perhaps more important than it's ever been.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to have several more conversations with Jen and Nikki. We're going to talk about the summit, which is coming up in April, and we're going to talk about that a lot. We're going to talk about how you can start a Gavel Club, and then we're going to hear some stories of the kids who have benefited from these programs. But before we wrap up, though, I've got one more question for Hitesh. Hitesh, what would you like our listeners to do?
I would request a very simple task. Within your family or within your friend circle or within the community, if you know of any young students between the ages of 10 to 18 years, definitely recommend them to check out the Gavel clubs and youth leadership programs. They can reach out to youth leadership at d50tm.org. We periodically conduct programs at the library and various places. And it is a wonderful platform to practice not just the public speaking skills but also to become a better leader, build relationships with other students, and learn and grow together. So my request is to drop an email to youth leadership at d50tm.org.
And Hitesh, we're supposed to end on the call to action, but I do want to ask you one more thing. What had you be interested in youth programs specifically? Why, of all the different things you could do in Toastmasters, and there are many opportunities, why youth leadership chair?
This goes back to year 2015. While I was working on my education program, Distinguished Toastmaster, there was an education requirement to do a youth leadership program. That gave me the first exposure to a youth leadership program. And during those 8 weeks, I noticed that the students learned a lot. Within 8 weeks, I saw a tremendous transformation in students' public speaking as well as leadership skills. And that really inspired me to continue doing more programs. That got me into it. Over the last few years, I helped start several Gavel clubs and helped conduct several youth leadership programs with the help of many volunteers. And that has been very rewarding, and that has been encouraging and inspiring me to continue serving on the youth leadership committee.
All right. Well, thank you, Hitesh. And thank you, Jen and Nikki, for joining us today. We're going to have more conversations with all of you in our next episode. So you don't want to miss our next 3 episodes covering the youth leadership programs in District 50. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett, and we'll see you next time.